there? Is everybody's that? Audit. Call this District of Clearwater regular council meeting for Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 2 p.m.-ish to order. And I'd like to acknowledge that we are fortunate to be gathering together on the unceded territory of the Simp people who have been caretakers of this land since time immemorial. Are there any late items running to the agenda today? Thank you. Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? So moved by Councillor Herring, seconded by somebody else. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. All those in favor? And now, motion to adopt the minutes. Any errors or omissions? Hearing or seeing none. Moved by Councillor Bamford, seconded by Councillor Frizzle. Thank you. You're on the agenda now. All those in favor? Got to be on the minutes. People won't think you're, we all know you do stuff, but you're on the official record. It's a good thing. I'm moving on to item 6.1. There's the draft terms for the reference for select committee on recruitment and retention. There is a recommendation that council adopt the terms of reference for the select committee as presented at the regular meeting held on October 19th, 2021. Any discussion on this? Questions of staff? Councillor Herring. Would some councillor like to be a representative of this committee? She is actually already on it as a school board trustee, and she's also she's already has technically almost two hats on that one, so that one does not fit. It's voted once every 3 months, and it's usually in the morning, but it could be adjusted. At this particular point, we're just starting officially doing this as a committee. I will say, as somebody who sits on that, and that with media requests and the interest in this particular file with the shortcomings or the shortages of staffing at the hospital and with BC Ambulance, I think this has become more critical in the last 2 weeks than we ever thought it would. So I think this is an important committee to have representation on. That said, the vast majority of this committee's business will probably be done via email or one-on-one conversations. I don't foresee the meetings to be that onerous because nobody, including the healthcare professionals involved from that side of the table, have really time for it. So, but I think it's essential that we have this committee and that we represent on this. Okay. So we can just adopt the terms of reference and then have a discussion later on who will sit on it. I'm obviously going to be on it. Mr. Thomas is going to be representing or sitting at the table as well, as far as yeah. I think Councilor Bamford, if you wish to do it, I think with your recent experience with the medical system and understanding the urgency and you, like me, have personal experience interacting with a lot of the people that are affected by this. So, yeah. So, Councillor Taylor.
It's not time bound, it's more scope bound, but not indefinite.
Not a forever committee.
Unless otherwise decided, 2.1. Unless otherwise decided by resolution of council, the committee shall exist and continue to operate until council deems the purposes of section C, which is the member created by potential or 24 months from when the date council adopts the terms of reference, whichever comes first. Again, council can have a resolution and
At least review it after 24 months if we felt that it was complete. We may not continue it, but if we felt it was still needed, we could continue.
And this committee, from the history that I have, is supposed to look at professional retention in various industries. with
Yes.
Initial focus fighting on health.
Okay. Okay, so there is a recommendation. Any further questions? Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Bamford.
Dealing with requesting some funding from the district, but we did this the budget.
Yeah. It's not just directly associated with this committee, but it's for those purpose of recruitment and retention. Yeah. Yeah. Further questions, comments? If none, somebody wish to move. Moved by Councilor Taylor, seconded by Councilor Bamford. Thank you. And we'll just note that Councilor Bamford, if we all agree, is the person that's going to rep. Is it? Oh, well, look at that. So there we go. Anyway, so all those in favor of first recommendation. There we go. Second recommendation. Let's nominate Councilor Bamford. How about that? All those in favor of. Oh, okay. Well, we'll do the other ones. Okay. So is everybody okay with the other members on there? And I don't think all those are, I think there's actually more people that are involved in it, but that's the set one. Okay. Somebody moving second. Okay, seconded. All those in favor. Okay, you can fill in the details that aren't. And then the last part of that recommendation is that we appoint Councilor Bamford. Thank you. All those in favor. Okay, let's clear that off. Yeah, I can tell you, if any issue, that issue has got me more phone calls this week than anything else. And I'll talk a little bit about that in my mayor's report, which is next day. Oh, look at that. So moving past 7, 8, 9, and 10 to mayor's report. Basically, all I've done this week is talk about housing and doctors and nurse shortages, and some difficulties with paramedics in the EMBC, but that hopefully will be solved when everybody gets up and running and hired with the ambulance service. I think I just talked to Ontario, CBC, was asking about our medical issues, shortfalls in Clearwater. Had conversations. I actually had a community member come forward and volunteer a fair market price rental house for the next 6 months in order to help the situation out. If at all possible, that's fully furnished and ready for, up to 4 people. So the buzz that it's getting out there, the attention it's getting out there is helping the situation, but I think it will be our next focus as council, at least with lobbying and advocacy for the next few months for sure. Yeah. Rest of my report, I did a bunch of stuff and I can't remember any of it right now, so I'll just move on to council reports. Councilor Bamford. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Councilor Frizzle.
That was really good. I just wanted to bring that up. Men's Sheds is on it started. They're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting at 9 o'clock. And I'm out of it. So I don't know all the details now. So that's kind of a good thing. And I'm working with TRU and 2 different organizations. Working on aging in place in rural and remote regions. So I'm looking forward to moving forward on that.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilor Herring, we actually have 3 of the first set of councilors that are actually in order here. Fire away.
Really not much of an update. One thing that I did hear in the last few weeks was a rumor noise that BC which is super exciting. That's something we've been on for a long time.
Yeah.
So, in November, we should have an actual full-time staff complement.
Yes, and with a better service than, better level of service and response time than I think we've ever had. It should be, that's fabulous. Okay, so that's, we'll knock on wood, we'll tentatively take that as a win. Councillor McKenzie has been taken away at work. Councillor Sim, I believe, is dealing with livestock, and that leaves Councillor Taylor.
So I think we discussed that committee on, all the different projects that are out there in the work, for, and either already underway or for next year. Still a nice long list of things coming, and the sales network is really shaping up. And you know, I think some of these projects will really help us bring that connectivity. We also talked about kind of potential that, what we could do to kind of connect the Black Park Drive. And more to come there to see if we can get creative on what we can do. But yeah, another really great meeting with the Trails Task Force Committee. Other than that, I spent the weekend at the arena. Hockey, which is great to see the kids back playing hockey. Thank you, Roger, and all the arena staff for always having that arena in tip-top shape and really helping us make sure we can implement the right procedures for spectators and be in line with our health orders. So I think that went really well actually. I think that went really smoothly. Definitely there were some people who were a little upset they couldn't get into the building, but I think in the interest of the kids, getting the kids out playing, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay. Just on that, I believe that BC will on October 25th lift the limits to 100% capacity for indoor sporting events. Just announced. So as long as you don't have any health restrictions imposed like Northern Health currently does, as of October 25th, the limits go to 100% occupancy. So there you go. With proof of vaccination. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Oh, yay. Okay, thank you for your reports. It just came down, so it just came on the corner of my eye there. Committee of the Whole minutes of the Infrastructure Committee of the Whole for October 5th. There is a recommendation. Somebody wish to move, so moved by Councillor Herring, seconded by Councillor Bamford. My brain's taking a little step sideways with a couple things coming in. All those in favor? I'll get back on track here. Minutes of the Finance and Audit Committee of the Whole meeting held October 5th. There is a recommendation. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Bamford. Thank you. All those in favor? That passes. Committee of the Whole reports. Dev, Councillor Fizzle. Thank you. Infrastructure, Councillor Bamford. Parks and Rec was earlier today. We're going to go tent shopping for a new marquee style large tent and some other stuff. And we have committed to putting some funding towards Winterfest in February so that we can have our first, hopefully, knock on wood, post-COVID festival in this town. Or, you know, post-restriction festival. We'll go with that. There is a recommendation that a policy be developed. Which one is that? Where am I? Page 3. Oh, that came out of Park and Rec. That a policy be developed to guide the deployment of municipal fire equipment in 2022 before the next fire season starts. Is that supposed to be in there? Okay. Okay, but we still have the recommendation, but it's supposed to be here. Okay, so that's supposed to be under infrastructure. Would somebody like to move that one? Thank you. Seconded. Thank you. And all those in favor, and that passes. Finance and audits, Councillor Herring. Okay, my pen just stopped working. Standing committee reports, joint services, Councillor Herring again. Thank you. Always look forward to those. And then back to Councillor Taylor, Trails Task Force. Okay, seconded by Councillor Herring. All those in favor? Councillor Bamford will give it to you this time. All those in favor? See, you're on the agenda in the minutes too, so that's good. Junior Council, Councillor Frizzle. Parliamentary thing? Oh, okay. Question? Excellent. Good. That's a good program. Okay, thank you for that. Forestry Working Group, Councillor Bamford. Okay.
Prior to the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it might be worth
Having
on
it.
top of that, so we want to have some discussion on what is a group and we know a lot of it.
Okay, that would be good to put, even by email, be good to put that to the members of that group. Community Economic Development Task Force, Council Frizzle. Okay, thank you. Tourism Wells Grey, Councillor Sim isn't here. Wells Grey Community Forest Commission, Councillor Bamford, I don't think we have a meeting scheduled, but there is a society meeting coming up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Recruitment intention meeting, to be determined. I've seen tentative dates there next month, sometime a month after. So, but once again, I think that's an important one to have going right now, as much as we don't need any more. But oh, it's not going to be Councillor Sim. That's going to be Councillor Bamford now. Councillor Sim was on there in 2 places before we came to today's. Okay. Staff reports, appointment of auditor for 2021 financial statements. Ms. Shepherd. Yeah. Yep.
So I had a discussion with the CEO and he would like us to consider doing an RFP to go next year for audit services.
Yeah.
So,
But for this year, we're going to go back with BDO, and Mario and the gang has done an excellent job. Councillor Taylor.
Okay.
Any further questions, Ms. Shepherd, on this? Somebody wish to move in second? Thank you, Councillor Taylor, seconded by anybody? Okay. Auditing is very important. Having our auditor do our review is very important. So moved and seconded, seconded by Councillor Herring. All those in favor? Thank you. Financial report to September 30th. Also, Ms. Shepherd and Mr. Thomas, I think. But pay special attention to the accepted receiving section on that one, I believe, because something happened. Comments from staff on that? Questions of staff on that? Okay. Seeing. Yep.
If we're up on some categories, council's been informed.
Yeah.
So they should be aware of the areas where we have to take a look a little bit, but And we are still a little bit low on some of these revenues from events, et cetera, but hopefully we get back on track, but overall, it's not looking bad.
Yeah, the sales of service column is quite interesting, to be at 122%, almost 123% for a budget at this particular point. But yeah, that's interesting. Councillor Bamford, I think first, and then Councillor Taylor.
Some of the areas look like they're maybe considerably down on the seasonal line that might be. Can that money be rolled over into next year's budget and therefore reduce the amount that we need to set aside for next year?
Depending on which one, in general, yes.
And that, you know, like welfare for the cemetery. So, you know, if we don't spend, I'm just curious. Whether or not we can afford it.
It can be.
Okay.
That would be a decision during budget for council, if they council wanted to roll some items forward, and we can make a list of those items that we'd like to go forward.
If we do not to subsidy next year, but keep saying that.
Yeah. Councillor Taylor.
This is, so that you can also go into reserves. for future, so, yeah, nothing's going to be replaced. Just really an observation. I know we were concerned kind of with COVID and everything as we were thinking about the budget last year around property taxes. And see that coming in at 99%.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Yeah. Any further questions, comments? No, it'll be interesting to see what assessments turn out like for next year. You know, assessments versus property values are two different, you know, not exactly the same thing, but with the number of sales that have happened in this town, I'm quite sure there could be some hair pulling. Yeah.
I'll be curious to see, because I've been watching the sales go through, like that's so much sales value, and some of them are quite dramatic.
Yes. Yeah, and it's so not just us. It's so southern BC or southwestern BC, stretching. Actually, I've talked to people in the Kootenays and the same thing's happening there. So it's yeah, it could be a very dramatic thing, and I wouldn't be terribly surprised if what you're talking about happened again. Wow, it's crazy. Okay. Okay. Three. So Christmas closure, there is a recommendation. The council approves the closure of the municipal offices on December 24th, Christmas Eve at 12 noon, and reopen on 8:30 on Monday, January 3rd this year. Any discussion, questions of staff? Councillor Frizzle? Services.
There is no staffing reason for this today, other than
I think staff likes the idea of staff having a holiday. And I think after this calendar year of change and everything else that's going on, I think it'd be nice that, yes. Okay, so there is a recommendation. Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know, just my own experience. What's the value of the building open until the year of trade for?
I don't know. Maybe staff can answer that, but I think in the past it's been somewhat busy with last minute people trying to do last minute. I don't know, maybe it isn't.
In my past experience, I find that I'll shift on Christmas Eve is kind of right. And so if we're having people come in, it makes sense, but I just don't see if it's gonna be quiet.
Pretty nice to get some more vehicles that actually gets pretty busy, especially if we're gonna be advertising, and we close that whole fall, and we need a lot of people that have renewals, et cetera, for driver's licenses, will be, oh, I better get in there, and so we'll try.
Okay, if it's not a busy day, I'll allow staff to go over just stuff that they probably don't get a chance to do. And it is, so having 4 hours of clear stuff, we just sit down and complete a project is probably a good thing.
And they do get the whole next week off, so or 10 days almost. So, okay, so there is a recommendation. What is the wish of council? Okay, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Bamford. All those in favor? Excellent. Winter maintenance of the multi-use path, contract extension, service levels. Council, there's a recommendation that council approve an extension of the road maintenance contract held by Borough Enterprises for winter maintenance for the following multi-use pathways and sidewalks in accordance with the road maintenance specification 1-4 and policy number 1708 for the 2021-22 winter season, and you see the specs on there. So this is just the add-ons, I believe. Yeah.
Multi-use path going up towards Windhaven, north of the.
Councillor Taylor.
I think this will be the first time of us having Windhaven. What is the second year? Oh my goodness, where does the time go? But then my question is, again, like, how does it compare to the prior year? The same price, the same.
Okay. Further questions, Councillor Frizzle?
It says 1 time per week. But everything I'm hearing is it's gonna be a really, really snowy winter. So is there a calculation of how that, if they have to go in there twice a week? So like, is there, or is that just what it is? It'll be done, and then it does it again in 7 days.
My understanding is this is a service level that was set for the area. If we want to do more than that based on the snow we get, we would go back to council for additional funding.
Yeah.
To do that.
Okay.
Perhaps when the actual contract is renewed for new tenders, the add-ons to become standard item within those within that document.
Yeah.
So it's not a revisit every time.
Okay. Further questions, comments? If none, what's the desire of council? Thank you. Seconder? Thank you, Council Frizzle. All those in favor? And that Mayor Blackwell and Chief Administrator often be authorized to execute the corresponding documents. That was part of that, and I didn't say that out loud. So that's already passed. Restructuring of committees for 2022. So you have a whole bunch of terms of references in your package here that you can take time to digest, but they're all pretty much the same thing there. There are 2 recommendations there. But I'll let you ask questions or thoughts, and I think we're going to have some discussion about this as well later. So. Yeah. Okay. Anything further? Questions of staff? Comments? Somebody want to move it? Okay, thank you. Second it. And this is 2 recommendations, isn't it? Or is it all? Is it all one? It's an and that? Okay, so it's 1 recommendation. Move seconded. All those in favor? I look forward to reducing the amount of or rejigging the amount of committees, etc. we have. It sounds like a great idea. Wait, just give me a half second here to get caught up on my agenda package. Because it's bylaw time. My favorite time of the day. This is bylaw number 256, 2021, amendment to council procedure bylaw number 131. There is a recommendation that the District of Clearwater procedure amendment bylaw number 256, 2021 be adopted. Somebody wish to move this one? Moved by Councillor Bamford, seconded by Councillor Taylor. District of Clearwater bylaw number 256/2021, a bylaw to amend the District of Clearwater Council procedure bylaw number 131/2014, whereas section 137 of the community charter provides that the power to adopt a bylaw includes the power to amend or repeal it, and whereas under section 128 of the community charter, council may authorize electronic meetings and participation by council members, and whereas the council of the District of Clearwater wishes to amend the District of Clearwater Council procedure bylaw number 131/2014, now therefore the council of the District of Clearwater in open meeting assembles and acts as follows. This bylaw may be cited as the District of Clearwater procedure amendment bylaw number 256/2021. All those in favor? Okay, so now we can legally have all these digital meetings for till the end of time. Okay, and then the next one is the permissive tax non-profit bylaw. This is for adoption again. I don't think we really have any questions on this, but if you do, put them forward. Okay, mover. Thank you, Councillor Bamford. Seconded by Councillor Taylor, and I get to read fast again, or well, slow if I want to. District of Clearwater bylaw number 257/2021, permissive tax exemption, a bylaw to provide permissive tax exemption for not-for-profit in accordance with section 224 of the community charter for a 3-year term. Whereas section 224(2)(a) of the community charter provides for the exemption of any land or improvements that are owned or held by a charitable, philanthropic, or not-for-profit corporation, and the council considers are used for a purpose that is directly related to the purposes of the corporation. And whereas section 224(2)(b) of the community charter provides for the exemption of any land or improvements that are owned or held by a municipality, regional district, or other local authority, and the council considers are used for the purpose of the local authority. And whereas section 2242I of the community charter provides for the exemption of land or improvements owned or held by an athletic or service club or association and used as a public park or recreation ground or for public athletic or recreational purposes. Now, therefore, the council of the District of Clearwater in open meeting assembles and acts as follows. This bylaw may be cited as the District of Clearwater permissive tax exemption, not-for-profit bylaw number 257/2021. All those in favor? Wow. Okay. And moving to page 5 of your agenda, which is somewhere here. Second, I lost it. Yeah, can I borrow your page 5?
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So correspondence, grant aid, Wellsbury Library Arts Society. There is a recommendation, decision of council. I haven't read this letter, so what is the desire of council while I find the letter? Maybe just tell me what the request is, sorry.
Thursday, on the stage. but
Oh, right, this is the rollover?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they wanna
okay.
use it for a winter stage.
Okay,
They wanna use it this way.
okay,
Outside or?
In the gym. That's the kind of, run multiple, but there has to be yet. But I really like them. They really want to.
And we're just asking to use the rest of the money that we already allocated.
That's right. They don't want any more, they just want to use some money that they have for the summer stage for the winter stage.
why do you want to see Cardi B? I honestly do not think the remainder of the budget is going to cover Cardi B. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So, what do we want to do? Are we okay with rolling this over? Somebody want to make a motion? Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, correspondence information items. Thompson Nicola Regional District Inspection Services, September 21. Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch, new event and development permit. Premier's Award for Excellence in Education. Ethelo decisions. Okay. And Kamloops Cancer Center, letter from Millibar and Stone. Yes, the Premier did clarify that it probably won't happen in the next term of the NDP government, but he is committing to continuing to get a Kamloops Cancer Center here. Yes, Councilor Bamford.
I mean, we're the highest on there, and even the year to date was higher than kind of expected. So that means $1.5 million worth of building permits and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's really positive for the community.
I think it'd be interesting to see it. We'll find a breakdown of what that actually looks like the next time we talk to Building Services, what those projects are. Anything further? Comments from the public? Anything? Stephanie? Okay.
So this is showing the value of building permits. In or all the areas listed here, but it's
Yeah, the actual value of what the project's worth, like, yeah, so. The year we had the Pattison Group project, I think that was a $40 million building permit amount. So it skewed us into the thousands of percent increase over the year before, so, or something along. We've had quite a few good years, so our numbers are fairly good between hotel projects and Pattison Group, and I think some of this might actually be Trans Mountain. I'm not 100% sure on what they pay for crossing permits and things like that. I don't know where it all scopes into there, but
this year's report.
yeah, sounds good. Yeah. It's anything that requires a building permit, if I get me correctly. Yeah. 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 Stuff's happening, and
Last one, I believe was the Jasper Way building permit.
right, yes, yeah.
It was, the chip island here, we are also going to be building different projects. So every one of those permits, the value of them is
Yeah, phase 5, and well, I think phase 5 might already be done for the seniors home, and then, but I do just driving around, I'm seeing housing starts. There's a foundation on Myrtle, and yeah, so it's things are happening. Anything further? No? Okay, thank you. We have a need to go into in camera, so there is a recommendation that the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to sections 91A, C, K of the community charter to discuss matters relating to personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality, or another position appointed by the municipality, labor relations, or other employee relations and negotiations related to discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at the preliminary stages, and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. Can I get somebody to move us in camera, and seconded by Councillor Bamford? So Councillor Taylor, Councillor Bamford, all those in favor. We have 10-minute